You have a new White House coordinator, COVID coordinator, Dr. Ashish Jha, on your show today. We're seeing COVID numbers trending downward here in Georgia, but just the opposite in some parts of the country, including Philadelphia, which just reinstated its indoor mask mandate. Even if it is the right thing to do based on the science, you think, isn't it unavoidable that big city leaders will take some political damage if they go back to these type of mandates?
Well, yes, especially if if it really isn't based in science, right? Is the case count the right number to focus on, or is it the hospitalization number, right? At the end of the day, what were public officials most concerned about the entire time during COVID? It was a run on the hospital system, a run on the healthcare system, overrunning that where they couldn't deal with other basic needs. And throughout parts of the pandemic, I think every major city in this country had a moment where hospitals were overrun with COVID cases. We are in a position now where that does not appear to be the case. Is that the metric that cities should be using? And it's a question I have for Ashish Jha, because as you say, look, there's definitely, I think, political fallout from any of these things. You trust, you and I are members of the media. It's always shoot the messenger, whoever it is. So you're going to have a public negative reaction to this after this exhaustion that I think the public feels on COVID. But, is this, and I think the curiosity I have with Dr. Jha, he's basically said, hey, these should be local decisions. Okay, but is this the right, what should be the right metrics to follow? And did Philadelphia follow the right metrics? It appears to me they did not.
Georgia is facing and looking at different metrics now too. That's a good question. I'll be listening. Okay, so now turning to unemployment, the White House releasing new unemployment numbers, saying that right now 17 states are at or at least tied with the lowest rate. So with midterm elections coming up next month, is this something Democrats should be shouting to the heavens? Does it give them a win on the economy, even if inflation is not coming down?
The answer is no. Yes, they can shout it from the rooftops, but as long as cost of living issues are impacting people, I think it doesn't matter. I mean, yeah, great, you have a job, but the groceries are more expensive than they were 2 months ago. Gas is more expensive than it was a month ago. It's now harder to get a mortgage. Interest rates are now 5%. And one of the things I've noticed in polling is that the group of voters who are most concerned about the economy are voters under the age of 35. That's an important group for Democrats in general. Younger voters have been part of the coalition that has given Democrats a fighting chance, particularly in Georgia and some of these other battleground states. If you think about it, you're somebody under 35, you may be thinking about buying your first house. You have a higher mortgage rate than anybody's dealt with in 20 years. Never mind the higher cost of day-to-day life and things like that. So I think this issue here, as much as the jobs issue is certainly good, but it also points to another problem. We actually have a bunch of unfilled jobs. And the best way to fill those jobs? Immigrant labor. And guess what the last thing the Democrats want to tout right now? Increased immigration. So it really is a real box that I think the Democrats are in right now due to the economy.
All right, Chuck, thanks. Meet the Press airs at 10 right after 11 Alive Weekend Morning News.